Not even the threat of being eaten by gators can keep me off a bike trail. The Chattahoochee Riverwalk Part 2 is up next. Well, the threat of being an alligator's dinner did not keep me off the trail, but it did cause me to turn around. Welcome to Joyful Trails, the YouTube channel where I explore great bicycle trails so that you can decide whether you would like to go and explore them in person yourself. This is YouTube the way God intended it to be. I'm your host, Scott Bachman, a past president of Mullets Anonymous. I'm in Columbus, Georgia, and our Part 1 video of the Chattahoochee Riverwalk ended with a cliffhanger of sorts after thoroughly enjoying my peaceful, easy feeling on the North Trail and going through uptown Columbus and also the South Trail. Suddenly we came to some murky water and some swampy looking, there were some signs warning of an alligator habitat. And I don't know about you, but that's really not my ministry. I'm not really called to that sort of ministry, so I decided it was time to turn around. Now this trail, it's a beast of a trail that actually goes way into Fort Benning, Georgia, and I look forward to exploring that part of the trail perhaps someday. But for now, we're going to turn around and show you some more cool stuff on the South Trail of the Chattahoochee Riverwalk. I can almost hear you saying, more bicycling, less talking. All right. Let's go. And off we go, between the hedges, as it were. I love bridges, and I'll tell you what, this one, there's a lot to love here. This one just seems to go on forever. Seems almost like a never-ending bridge. Try to hold your breath across the whole thing. So we're on the South Trail, but we're headed north, back toward Uptown. And check out this section. It's a bit of a hill. You don't have to do much pedaling here. All you have to do is just enjoy the view. It was a gorgeous day. I mentioned in Part 1 that there weren't many people on the trail due to the great virus scare of 2020. We'll call it the bug. How about that? So a lot of people were holed up in their homes and afraid to be on the trail. I never social distance from a nice bike trail. Are you kidding me? We passed right by an amphitheater built into the side of the hill. Some nice stone work right there beside the trail. And this is kind of interesting. There's a building in the way, so I guess the trail designers said, hey, we'll just incorporate that. We'll go right through the building, no problem. And water features are always nice. You are watching Joyful Trails, the YouTube channel that is 98% fat-free. Of course, that's just an estimate. Your actual mileage may vary. I'm your host, Scott Bachman. I'm just here doing the Lord's work. Thanks for stopping by. Approaching uptown Columbus now, getting back to the Mill District. Just for fun, what do you say we do a time lapse? I need you to keep both hands inside the car until the ride comes to a complete stop, and please secure any loose items or valuables, okay? All right. Hey, you made it in one piece. Good job. Art lovers, and you know who you are. There's much to love for you guys along this trail. Now this is pretty cool. It's a statue, actually 4 statues of Christopher Columbus, representing 4 different stages of his life. How politically incorrect of you, Columbus. But then again, Columbus was probably named after Columbus, and so that would make sense. Here's a bust of somebody. It looks kind of like Ronald Reagan to me, but I know it's not. Here's one that says it's in loving memory of lost children. It's a nice sentiment. There you see the river and the river walk. And here's a nice sculpture of some girl drawing something. Very realistic, almost to the point of being creepy, I would say. But hey, I'm not really an art critic. Here are some girls kicking up their heels. And there's the river. Very close to the Riverwalk, you'll find nice playgrounds and even a water park with a big water slide. And I'm sure these things are usually covered over with people in the spring and summer and fall, but of course not during the great virus scare of 2020. And this is amazing here. It's a zip line. You climb up there, you take off, and you slide across the Chattahoochee River into Alabama. And you come down over on the other side at that tower over there. I think it's the only zip line that spans 2 states. And speaking of 2 states, there is an amphitheater over on the Phoenix City, Alabama side, and that connects to the Phoenix City Riverwalk, which we hope to explore on a future edition of Joyful Trails. If history is your thing, the National Civil War Naval Museum is pretty much right there on the trail. Check out the old cannon overlooking the Chattahoochee. And if you've ever wanted to stare down the barrel of a cannon, here's your chance. By the way, make sure you take a full water bottle and a snack. There are precious few places to get food along this Riverwalk. Willie and I did find this convenience store that was close enough. Before we say goodbye, here's a really nice look at some of the restoration that has taken place in uptown Columbus. So it's back to the pedestrian bridge. Before we take off across the bridge, I'll show you a nice scenic view to be had from the bridge. And now here we go. We're going to glide in time-lapse fashion back across. So what do we think about the Chattahoochee Riverwalk? I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm impressed. The trail is easily accessible, it's easy to navigate, and relatively flat, wide lanes and good trail markings, lots of interesting bridges and attractive hardscaping, plenty of helpful signage, attention was paid to art and history, and when you've got the Chattahoochee River to work with, how can you go wrong? Drum roll, please. Our score here at Joyful Trails for the Chattahoochee Riverwalk, 4.5 bike tires on a scale of 1 to 5. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Joyful Trails. If so, share this video with friends, enemies, relatives, random people on the street corner, anybody that's learning to ride a bike or has ever been on a bike. Ring the bell, subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, all that YouTube stuff. Join me again soon for another edition of Joyful Trails. Scott Bachman here. I'll see you next time.
What?